15 with me, Lynn Rene MacDonald, for our live talk forum tonight here, on Facebook. And we are live at the Institute for Christ Consciousness and the Copper Dragon here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Got a whole bunch of stuff to talk to you about. Wild times, as always, right? Well, would we expect anything different, right? Okay, so tonight's show, we're going to answer your questions. You know what the show is about. It's where we bridge Earth world with the metaphysical. All right, we're here live from our shopping center here in Virginia Beach, so you can come live if you're feeling it. And of course, we, as always, every Wednesday, we got all you guys coming online here on Facebook. All right, thanks for coming, everybody. Super grateful. So glad that you guys are our people, that you're in your hearts, because man, this world is a fuck storm. No shit. It's like every time I go out there, it's like I am like heightened anxiety and heightened stress. It's like, man, take extra care for your adrenals in these times, because it's like you go out there and you never know what you're going to be hit with, meaning, not meaning, physically hit, although in these times you never know, right? Hit with meaning from the darkness, from other people, ultimately it is the darkness, but hit with meaning the challenges that are going on out here. It's like you can't just walk down the street without some crazy shit happening, whether they harass you about your pets or they give you a hard time about what you're doing on somebody's property. I mean, it's escalated. And it's going to keep on doing that. So these times are really crazy, these wild times. Everyone says with all the conspiracy theories, but the truth is we are really in a battle of dark and light. And so here we are tonight doing our show for these tools, for these gifts, for you guys and all of us too. So we have the best guidance, the best wisdom from love in the purest form. That's what we teach. Always talking to God, always talking to universe, always talking to love, all the same thing. Love in the purest form. That's Christ consciousness, highest and God energy, always working from my heart connection to this space, my subconscious soul, right? My heart space, the purest love that is in me, and that connection. This is what this show is about. And also the connections and the balancing of this energy multidimensionally here in Earth world, right? And metaphysically in all that is God, that is love. This show is a show to guide you in these times so you can see what's truly going on. We talk about stories about what's going on in the world through my experiences and through any experiences you guys want to share, through your questions, through questions other people call in with, whether you call in over the phone, you call in here on Facebook. This show is really to help people from love, okay? So if you can donate in however way you want to donate energetically, please do. The links are always in there. My faithful associate Rachel puts them out there, and Jennifer as well is my other assistant who's here tonight. It's still kind of early, but I see you guys coming on, so thanks for coming. So get your questions ready, all right? And also they're doing all kinds of shady shit. We went from like what we saw was like 1,100 viewers, and then one time we had 617. They're fucking with all the numbers. Anything they can do to shut down the light, because this is the battle of dark and light. So the more you guys can all share my stuff, please do. The more we get the truth out to the world, to the people, the more we save it. The more we change everything that's going on here. Truth be told, right? Okay, so this said, thank you all for coming. 7:15 live talk forum here with me, Lynn Rene MacDonald. All right. So, and me and Jen and Rachel and everybody who's here in our studio audience and everybody who's here live on Facebook. So we always do our best to answer your questions. If we don't get to them this week, we bring last week's questions forward, as well as any new stuff that we need to talk about, guided by highest knowing of love. This is a higher knowing show, and there's nothing like it out there really. And if there is, please share with me, because I'm always learning and I always want to know what's going on out there in the world. And just like tonight, it was so strange. I sat out in the parking lot for like 50 minutes, right? In my car when I got back that's why my hair was so wild today. I don't call up my rings and shit, but my hair is all wild today because Wednesday is the 5th and it's the last day you can possibly pay the rent. in my rent contracts. So I do what's called the gauntlet every Wednesday between not every Wednesday, but every time it's the 5th of the month. I drive out my Jeep and, I usually have the windows down. So tonight's show was kind of wild because it's the same day as the rent is due. So I have wild hair because I was in the Jeep driving and the rent to where it needs to go. It's part of my shit that I do, guided by higher knowing and what is best for my soul, right? I got to pay the rent, right? So, for whatever buildings I have and whatever businesses I have, including my house or whatever, That said, so we have Wild Hair Day today. And we have questions from last week. And Rachel, could you just take a minute and tell me who's here?
Right now we have Nikki.
Hey, Nick.
Teresa, Steve.
Hey, Teresa.
Lana Short, Andrea, Jessica Pierce. We have Angela Pearl, Jennifer Custer, Kathy Warmack, and Casey Marie.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Yay!
And Jennifer Custer says her rent is due on the 5th, too. She's feeling it.
So do you, do you do the gauntlet like we do? I remember when I first did that, I had the landlord for my house call me up and she's like, where is your rent? And it was like the 5th day. I said, I have till today to get my rent there. She says, you mean you didn't mail it and you're going to wait till now to drop it off? And I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm like, I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. That's my freedom to do whatever I want to do. But I'll make sure that I keep my obligation guided by higher knowing, but she was all bent because she wanted the rent, this particular landlord at this one particular place where I was living. And she got bent out of shape because she didn't like it that the rent I had until the 5th day. But that's in her contract, right? So guided by higher knowing, my soul always pushes the boundaries. Why? So because I'm learning about energy all the fucking time. So I could learn about her and how she got irritated because I didn't bring the rent on the 1st and she didn't like that. And she said to me, you're going to drive that rent 45 minutes out to here every month on the 5th. And I'm like, yep. If that's what the fuck I want to do, that's what I'm doing, right? These times, crazier times than ever, right? But this is about me following my heart. I'm going to do what's best for me. And as long as I keep my obligations from love and always work with higher knowing of love, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm feeling. I always talk to universe, always talk to God, always talk to angels, always talk to love. Okay, guys? Okay, so that said, you got a little bit of a piece of my day today or this evening, trying to get this done by 5 o'clock, and then 5 minutes before we had to get here, we had some people come into the shop, which I'm super grateful for. Because these times are wild with the destruction of the economy and, crazy shit happening, all times, all hours of the night. And I post so much stuff on my social media as well. Anything people bring into me that universe guides me to post. A lot of times people say to me, hey, you know what? It isn't true. Or Lynn, that's not really the truth. But let me tell you this. If I post it on my Facebook, it does not have to be truth scientifically. It does not have to be truth of what people believe in Earth world. It just has to be that I feel in my heart, because this is what people pay me for. This is what I came in here to do, to teach people truth of God and love, the God's honest truth. So I just have to feel it in my heart to know that it's the truth. So if I post it on my Facebook or I post it in my social media, it's always guided by higher knowing and my heart space, my soul. Okay. So just so you guys know the truth about what's going on here, you may see stuff and then they have all this other parallel energies that are darkness versus light. And that darkness is fighting the light. And so there's lots of demons, witches, darkness, because we are fighting literally a battle of multidimensional shit going on here. Whether you realize it or not, high in God people like ourselves are going to feel these things all around us. We're going to see things. We're going to know things, because this is what we do. We came in here to teach people the truth, to show people the way from love, right? And to whether we do it by just living our lives or however we participate or create in our soul's journey, whatever that is from love. Right? We're all part of that same team. So my soul is always figuring out all the Rubik's cubes of life, right? And energy and how people react. So my soul does shit like that. And yes, I can pray on it and I can change it. But if this is my destiny, it is so. right? So part of my job here is to share my shit with you guys to help you in your lives, in your journey with everything going on for you. By what? By like testing the water, right? I push the envelope on the 5th day for rent just to see how my landlord's going to react, just to see, what the truth is about what's going on. Not to be an asshole, but guided by higher knowing of my soul, because I'm always learning about energy all the fucking time, multidimensionally and in all that it is, as this is the law of universe. This is the law of all that is God, the law of earth world. And I learn by living in earth world. And this is how we all do. With experience or with age comes wisdom, right? This is why, in the history or the, what would you call it, of Saturn, the wisdom of Saturn, which is the planet that governs earth world here in astrology. It governs earth world karma. In the wisdom of Saturn, okay, it has a whole code of ethics, and part of that is learning everything in earth world, okay? Everything in earth world according to Saturn, so that you can live your greatest life within the space of being in this earth world dimension, okay? As well as metaphysically over here, everything that is God, that is love. And they intertwine and connect. And this whole show is all about that. And the stories that I'm always going to share are about that. Why? For my best learning and growth, right? And for everybody else's as well. I've learned through the court systems that the court systems are broken, that the law is not what anybody thinks it is. Everything has been infiltrated by this darkness, and it's super important for you guys to know so you can navigate everything that's going on. And it's super challenging. So we're going to talk probably on and off about this tonight. We're going to answer last week's questions. Thank you everybody for coming. I'm super stoked, super excited. I have Jennifer and Ray here, as I said. And I think we're going to start with questions from last week. Thanks, guys. All right. So what do you got? Who's doing questions?
We are going to start with Dee tonight.
Okay. Hi, Dee. Thanks for coming.
Dee was wondering, she says, I was wondering if it was possible to smell scents in dreams. I had a dream last night into today where I was at a bonfire on a beach, singing sea shanties, I believe. But the smell of smoke was so strong, it shot me out of my sleep since I thought something was actually burning in real life. I got up and sniffed around. There was nothing but the usual house smells and a cat trying to herd me back to bed.
Yeah, I hear you. Let me see. Yes, it is possible. It's kind of like what they're showing me. They liken to it. Remember when you were a kid, and this might be a little rough, right? But you would have a dream that you were going to the bathroom and you were literally going to the bathroom. This is a way, right, that we're bridging dimensions of all that is God, that is love, right, with earth world, okay? This is very intense, an intense rest, intense work that your soul is doing when you go into these spaces. And yes, it is true, right, that you can smell things, just like when people will be around you who have crossed over, like sometimes you could smell somebody's cigar or somebody's cigarette or their perfume. Okay. Just like when my grandmother passed away and I was explaining that I would lay on her pillow every night and I would smell her for like a long time until I finally washed that pillow. Right. And then even after that, sometimes you can still smell that in there, but metaphysically, this is true. You can and you will in earth world smell things. Of course, so much is what your soul brings in with you, what you're in tune to, what you're utilizing, of your gifts in your soul. So the answer to this, Dee, is yes, it absolutely can. And it's wild because when things like that happen, just like when you're a kid and you're dreaming you're going to the bathroom and you're really kind of peeing in your pants or wetting your bed, right? You freak out, right? So it's really intense. It's not unlike the phenomena, and this goes along with, the phenomena of like sleep paralysis, okay? It's when you're just in an intense space and you're in multi dimensions, and it's almost kind of like, sometimes the magic of all that is God or love in the dimensions balances, right? And like with situations with like sleep paralysis, you can get pretty haywire. And again, all this is really truth, or truth of manifestation from fear, like with sleep paralysis, right? This other stuff is utilizing your gifts from love. Let me just see. Where, you know, you'll have somebody come to you in a dream. It's your metaphysical gifts where things seem really real, or you smell things from past lifetimes and you bring them into the present, and they're real as shit. I remember I was driving to a show, an event. I want to say this was like 4 or 5 years ago. Shit. It was way down in Georgia. It was actually, I think it was Black Rock, South Carolina. It was like a few miles right across the border was Georgia. And I did this event. I can't remember the guy, this John gentleman. I can't remember his last name, but either way, I did his event. It was a ferry event. And I drove to Georgia, and I remember my GPS, as always, is like super magical. It's on my phone. It's fucked up. It doesn't ever work right. It tells me that I'm going to be there in 7 hours, and it takes like fucking 15. And I'm like, Jesus Christ in heaven. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fall asleep. Oh my God, I'm going to fall asleep. Right. And then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, God, I need some help here, you know, and I'm like, I need to stay awake at least till I can find a place where I can, you know, pull over, lay down, go to sleep. And it was like, I was in the middle of nowhere. Right. And it was like, Jesus, I think like 3 a.m, you know, and I'm driving along, and then all of a sudden I smell tangerine essential oil. Tangerines, right? If you know anything about tangerine or tangerine essential oil, it keeps you awake. It gives you energy, right? And I was like, holy shit, this is an incredible thing. So I asked God for help, and all of a sudden I'm smelling that. So we have all kinds of magic and metaphysical gifts that most of us don't even realize or talk about or acknowledge, because we're so in the zone living in Earth world, right? And we see like this, right? And we think like this. We think in reference to who we are in our belief systems, when really God is infinite. You want to know the God's honest truth, you ask God for it. You want these kinds of gifts, you can ask God for these, right? So you have all this incredible power and all these incredible gifts, D, and this is part of that. So this is why you're smelling this. Your soul is opening up all these gifts as the vibration in the planet raises and rises, and as the collective is transforming, all right, the collective energy is transforming in the astrology of the transits of the planets, okay? This stuff is being culled from us. Everything that is happening in astrology on a subconscious and conscious level is pulling the shit out of us, pulling the toxins out of us, the fears, the incredible fear, right? All this Pluto opposition sun, Pluto opposition moon, and moon is your subconscious soul. So incredible shit is just being culled from us on a subconscious level as well as conscious. And so more often than not, we're not even aware that this is going on until we have like a breakdown emotionally, or we cry a lot, or we consciously are doing the work. And it's been rough. Some days I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I've been through an emotional blender. And I'm like, and my kids are like, Mom, are you okay? And I'll be like crying, and I'll be like, I'm fine. I just need to cry. You know? And that's what happens. And then I get it all out, and I ask the universe to clear it, put the best way to be from love, but I still have to process and feel my emotions. All right. Super important for all of us in these times. When these things happen and you feel yourself releasing stuff, this is what's happening for all of us. You got to release it. Ask God to feel it, heal it, clear it, release it, and be free of it, and put the best way to be from love in the purest form. Always. And thank you, God, for that for us. Simple, easy, helps you release it, you know, and if you can't, you know, if you're having a moment and you've done a lot of healing work or clearing work, whatever you want to call it, or you feel like you're having a rough emotional day, this is all related to this, guys. This is all related to what's happening in the stars. And people say, well, I didn't want this and I didn't ask God for this. Yeah, you did. You did. When you asked God to come in here, or when you came in here, you had a destiny, you had a journey. Just like I'd say, well, I don't want this world for here. I don't want this world for here. There's no doubt what's going on out here is a fucking hot mess, and it's disgusting. It absolutely is toxic as fuck, right? This darkness, this is totally Armageddon. This is totally the battle of dark and light. This is why we even came here, right? But we signed on for this. It's in our destinies. So anytime We all think, well, I never asked to be born, or I never wanted this, right? Well, in our human spaces, in our right minds, meaning from love, who would want this to happen? We wouldn't. But we signed on for this. Why? To change what's going on here in this dimension, to learn from love, to heal ourselves, to step into our greatest destinies and things that we have karmically have to complete, that we chose to do with our souls before we even came in here, right? So this is how you know that when people say, oh, you didn't sign on for this. Yes, you did. You did. Right? And you can say, well, I would never want this person as my mother or this challenge. Well, yeah, on a human being level, totally get it. But truly, your soul runs the show. This is why you pick these challenges and these things and everything that's going on in the world for your greatest gifts, your greatest journey, your greatest destiny, everything. So, all of this said, moving back to D and all of this is what's going on as the world changes, as we heal ourselves, and it's all being done on a huge energetic level because it is God, it is love. So while the darkness is battling this out and the light is battling this out multidimensionally, because I can't tell you the amount of fucking demon shit experiences and wacko stuff that has been happening, and it's crazy. And hopefully I'll get to it tonight before I get more into our questions too. In between, we'll figure it out with love. Thanks God for that for us. So, all this crazy stuff is all part of the grand design of God, right? So when the darkness thinks it's winning, and no matter what our battles, and no matter how pissed off or angry or upset or wild I get, I'm always going to bring it back to God, because I have all the tools that I need. Right? You see, the darkness wants to get me when I'm wilding. The darkness wants to get me when I'm crying and down. The darkness, that gives it an avenue to seep on in, right? And like last night, I was like, holy shit, I could feel it coming in. And they were like, because I think that, Doreen Virtue posted something about how what we do as spiritual people, rocks and stones and tarot, that it's all evil and it's demonic. And even Anton, what's his name? Lefray, is that his name? Lefay. I think it's the one of the writers of the book of a book of Satanism. I don't know how many there is, right? But I saw a post from her. I saw a post from him. Then there was like a naked chick on my feed, and all this dark energy came in through my fucking phone. And I'm like, holy shit. And then my head is spinning, and I'm like feeling myself get ungrounded. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, what's really going on here? And then I see this huge, shit you not, like 6 foot, like football player, demon kind of guy, all red and black, right? But in a human type figure. It was creep as fuck. And he wouldn't leave the shop. And I'm like, but I could feel myself ungrounding. And I'm like, wait a minute. So when you're in these challenging times, or you're having a moment, or you're upset about something, or you've like fucking had it, like many of us feel right now. This is the doorways that this dark energy tries to seep into you. Just know this. So you can be like, hey, wait a minute. What's really going on here? Universe, what's really going on? I know what's going on, right? So I have the power to tell that demon dude to get the fuck out of my shop, get out of here, be free of him, and ask the angels to assist me and clear and put a circle of energy around everything, my home, my house, my people, to protect them from love, right? No shit. We have incredible power and incredible gifts, but we have to be cognizant of what's going on around us. But we're getting pounded with this dark energy, pounded because, did you have something to say?
I do. It's interesting you're talking about all of this, because there's been 4 or 5 different people in the comment sections tonight talking about how they've just been having an emotionally turbulent, horrible time.
Yeah.
And
thanks, Rachel. Yeah. See, we're all going through it, yeah, because it's our deepest, darkest, what I call Plutonian and Saturnian shit, man. Ooh. And it's rough. It's rough. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm like, you can ask my family. I'm like, there's times where I'm like crying on the floor. I'm crying not only just in pain physically, but crying like all night long, on and off. And I'm like, look, just ignore me. I'm going to be fine. Let me just get through my shit. But we're all going through it. And this is all part of that. But just be aware when this weird shit happens, because the darkness uses all these avenues of weirdo shit. Like, throwing a girl stripping on my Instagram page, and I'm like, what is this? Right in between a Doreen, whatever her name is, Virtue post about how what we do is darkness. That's to unground me. That's to make me think that what if this is real? What if what I do is horrible? And for me to abandon my mission, and for 1 millisecond, I felt that energy, and I was like, wait a minute. What the fuck is really going on? So through the internet, it's coming through. So just be aware. These dark posts allow this energy in, and nothing bad towards Doreen Virtue, right? This isn't really about her. This was one of her posts stating all this stuff. Then an Anton LaFay, I think his name is, post about darkness and how these were original tools of darkness. And this is for all you guys. All right. So, everything is of God and love. What you do with it has everything to do with your intention from love. Right? So stones that are in all of our jewelry are not dark. So even though you would say, well, the devil created this and this created this, you really have to look and research it. But the bottom line is talk to God, because very rarely is it the God's honest truth, this kind of shit that you see. And it's all based in people's belief systems of the space of God they are in. We can only see outside of ourselves from that space. So this is true of all of us. Our beliefs come out in everything we are and do. All right. To let you know, but we're all going through all this dark stuff. And that's what Rachel just said. All you guys are posting, how we're all having emotional shit. We're releasing, and it's big shit. It's big shit in these times. It's crazy. So, but the darkness is going to try to capitalize on it. I can't tell you how many witches, and I have no problem with, there is good in everything, right? The key here is to know what the good is, to be in your heart, and your intention is everything that makes stones good, that makes jewelry good, that makes any product good and full of love. But people's beliefs are what gets all jacked up. Now, I know Doreen Virtue has her own mission and her own journey, but her mission is not mine. This is truth of God and love, right? My job here is to do what we do here, okay? And each one of us has our own mission, and your job is to feel in your heart, am I giving you the God's honest truth? And is this world, what's happening in this world, is it the God's honest truth? Do I feel it in my heart? Whether it's something I say, Doreen Virtue says, or the guy who wrote the satanic book says, right? The truth of the matter is, you will always feel the truth. And in all the stuff that I post on my page, the same is true. Some shit you might not even have manifested yet, but know this: if I'm posting it, like I posted a picture or a meme or something, or a news article about cows and how the mRNA vaccine, they're vaccinating cows in Australia, right? And so what does that mean for the people? This is all part of their fucked up plan. And whether it's happening here or not, make no mistake about it. If it came across my fucking feed, this is universe, God, love, showing me what's in the energy, what is happening, wherever it's happening, and that it can and is coming for us, right? So this is about us knowing, so we can prepare and we can be wise and we can make the best choices for us from love, okay? So, because wisdom, right, is knowledge. All right. And it comes from higher knowing in your heart, your God connection. It is what you call, it trumps everything. I've always say this, right? Intellect is part of that, right? But wisdom trumps everything. It is all knowing of God. So when the COVID-19 shot comes out and I go, oh, right, I'm freaking out. I'm like, when the COVID happened, I'm like, yeah, this feels like bullshit. All of it feels like bullshit. Right. And you can believe whatever you want to believe, but I know what I believe in my heart. And that's what I do and teach, because my job is to navigate these avenues, because I'm here to do this work. My family, I want to make sure my family's okay. I want to make sure I'm okay. I didn't come in here to live as a fucking slave. I didn't come in here to live for this shit. I came in here to change this shit and to live my greatest life. And that's what we're all going to fucking do. And fuck them. Fuck them. And there you go. Okay? So that said, What?
And that's that.
Jennifer goes, and that's that. All right. So all of this said, it's super important for you guys to know we're all going through it in these times, but this is what's happened. So be aware of this darkness. I could tell you 20 more stories, but I want to get to your questions too. We just got to D's. Does D have any more questions in reference to this? So, and I want to make sure that everybody understands, especially D, because this was her question, that this is just about, as we raise our vibration, as we clear all this stuff that we talked about, what is happening is we are raising our vibration. Our gifts are opening up because we're clearing those blocks in us that stop us from being able to see everything that I'm talking about here. See multidimensionally, see in our dreams, speak with people who has crossed over, use all of our magic of God or love. This is all part of the grand design, because you figure if with the inoculations, right, if there's a 10-year span here, right, and a whole bunch of people are going to be in this die-off, and it's not just because of the inoculations. That's a huge chunk of it for sure, 73 to 78. And then you're going to have the financial crap and breakdown of everything. And there's going to be lots of lives lost and lots of stuff going on. That's just going to be really, really, really toxic. Okay. In these times. Okay. So let me just get back to where we were with this. So we have to be prepared for this. And this is what's happening, to let everybody know. And is there anything else that I want to say with that? They're telling me we'll come back to this later. They meaning angels, God, love. We got Kali Ma with us tonight. That makes sense. Anybody know about Kali Ma? You can look her up. I know that my friend Zenya was the original teacher of Kali Ma for me. She's a warrior, man. So look her up. Some great wisdom there. She is also one of my guides along with Christ, and we all have different kinds of guides and stuff. So, but universe is guiding me to come back to this. We're going to do your questions, but know that this is why what's going on is happening. Thousands of souls are going to cross over, and then what's going to be left is the heart space, right? The people who are in their hearts. But guess what? Darkness didn't account for the people in their hearts, because the heart is the new world. Highest God connection, right? Yeah, this is the great plan. But in the meantime, it's like we got to go through all these things here in Earth world, all these different layers of all the shit that's going on energetically to get to it, through it, as well as, and it's all part of the grand design for our greatest selves, our greatest lives, our greatest future, whether we come back to Earth or not, or whatever we choose, because we tend to be those love energy beings. And people go, why aren't you, they'll say to me, oh, I'm leaving after this life. And I'm like, really? I said, good for you. Sometimes I'll get a yes, they are. Sometimes I'll get a no. And I'll be like, good for you, if they're leaving. In other words, they're not coming back to this planet. And, and like I might have said this to you. I asked God, why aren't I leaving? Right? Why aren't I leaving? And they're like, because I'm so in love with love itself that I choose to come right back and fucking do this again and again and again. And I'm like, what a crazy fucking soul, but this is who we are, because we love so much. Right? But this is what this world needs. Huge love, where we're not going to fold. We're not going to get on our knees to darkness. We're going to stand our ground. As you can see, there's going to be 1 million false prophets. There's going to be 1 million people who don't speak the truth. 1 million people capitalizing on the money, on the fame, on the this. It's already happening in Hollywood. They've all sold their souls to the darkness. Holy shit. It's disgusting. Look at the way they're acting. You can't miss it in their behavior. It's everywhere. It's not just in Hollywood. It's in the businesses. It's in the people. It's in the driving. It's in the behavior. And you're just like, holy shit. But that's why we're here, because that's why they also want to kill us, because we have all the power. This is this most incredible love. This is why they want to destroy anybody of Christ energy consciousness, whether it's through religion or wherever it is, or whatever type of religion. That doesn't matter. It's about purity of heart, right? Yeah, big shit. So that's what the darkness wants to destroy, first and foremost, across the board. And it's going to be, I ask God to give me a new perspective on this, so that I can embrace this, because I don't like this heightened feeling of anxiety. Every time I go out, I feel the hair go up on my back. And you know how your dog is, where your dog feels afraid or gets unnerved, right? His hair goes up on his back, and he doesn't like it. You don't like it. He's more likely to be aggressive and bite, right? But this is what it's like for us people going out there. And in this crazy shitty space, and whatever, wherever we're going. And not everything is like that. You pray on your shit. You ask to create whatever it is that is best for you, right? From love. And you have the ability to always work with it. Ask love to speak through you. Ask love to handle it. Ask love to be free of this. Ask love to be free of that. Whatever you need. Okay. All right. So that said, those are all the tools you need for these times. The whole world is not shitty. There's so many beautiful things. Like I posted a shout out to mothers on my Facebook. There's a great video there of some incredible people who are photographers in nature, and their lives are about this, and they're able to bring this incredible bear family story to us. And it's played to the Rolling Stones tune. And it's fucking fantastic. It's incredible. Nature is so incredible, and God finds a way. That's what nature is. You can't stop God, man. You can't. You just fucking can't. And nature shows us this every day. This mama bear had 4 cubs, and she raised them all. And I was like, holy shit. If that isn't a testament to intuition and God connection, 4 bears. Usually in nature, a lot of animals die. Lion has 3 cubs. She ends up with 1 that really survives, right? But this mama bear raised 4 fucking bears to adulthood. Incredible shit. What gifts she must have. What God connection she must have. Something we all need. Thanks God for that for us. Always. Okay, that said, hope that answers Dee's question in totally different depths in many multiple ways, and for all of us with all these times and everything that's going on. Does Dee have anything that she wants to know in reference to this?
She hasn't had any follow-ups, but there have been some neat comments about other people smelling things and just talking about scents, and
cool.
Just neat.
Cool. Thanks, guys. And feel free to post your stuff. The more we share, the more we learn that what we do here is actually real, right? That it really happens to people, right? And of course, everybody's at different vibrations and different spaces of their journey of love, and nothing is bad, right? Nothing is bad. It's only bad or toxic or unwell if that's what you believe. Do you see? And though there is a line of truth that is what I call being a realist, okay? Because we live in real world, earth world. So we must have those tools in this truth of God space for these times that is different from what we're talking about over here. Let me see. I want to find the best words to say this. Thanks God for that for me. You have to be a realist in these times, in Saturn's Earth world. In other words, you have to prepare. You have to prepare, but you have to see the truth of God all the time and work with these energies. Okay. Hold on one second. Do we have other questions?
Yes. Yeah, we have a few more from last week too, and they're most of them are here tonight.
Terrific. I know there's more that I needed to say with this. Thanks God for that for us. I just got to get my water here. Super huge, staying hydrated for all of us in these times. Okay. Yeah, there's a line of truth in earth world dimension that is what you call the realist. It doesn't mean that you're being negative or toxic. And a lot of people will mistake what I print and put up there on my Facebook or in any of my stuff, or even when I talk here, they think I'm being vile and I'm being shitty and I'm being dark and I'm being toxic. What's truth of God is truth of God. And that's in that band of God's honest truth here in Saturn's earth world of being a realist. You have to see what's really going on in the dimension you are in to be able to exist, prepare, and do what is best for you, the God's honest truth of it. And that's what I'm talking about here, to let everybody know. Okay, so I hope that puts all of that together. Thanks God for that for us. Okay, so who's next?
We have Kathy from last week. She posted last week that she had to get some
Kathy
labs done.
Womack?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Kathy, that's okay.
Last week she had to get some labs done, which she ended up getting done today.
Mm-hmm.
She's wondering if she's going to be okay. She has to also get an echocardiogram. It's the second one that she's had to do. This is with a cardiologist, I believe. She's wondering if she's going to have to get valve replacement. Last year, a doctor told her no, that she will not have to get her valves replaced, but she's worried the cardiologist is going to say that she needs to. She's wondering what you feel about it.
All right. The best thing that you can do right now, Kathy Womack, is clear all the energies that is all this fear about all of this, and that's all around this, okay? And then if you look at it being a realist, as we just talked about here in Earth World, inoculations play a big role in this. So I do feel if you go down a different way of medicine, okay, or natural medicine or natural health care doesn't mean you throw your doctor's gifts and tools in the trash. You feel with God or love, and you talk to universe what is best for you in this space of health that you are in. You feel, you ask, you work with God, you work with love. Because everything in the human body is healable. The question is, do you believe that? So there's energy work here to be done to clear all these blocks out for you, as well as ask God what the God's honest truth about what all these doctors are saying is, and do you need these things? Okay. And ask love to speak through you when you go to the doctors. Ask love for the best outcome, and you create it. Just like my daughter that was supposed to have a root canal. I was like, yeah, there's too much shit that ain't right here. And so, at 20 years old, we went to a holistic dentist, and we prayed on it. Because that's what we do. I'm like, okay, God, thanks for the best outcome. Thanks for everything you told me about the boil, because apparently she had a pocket of infection that was under here. But it was not what the first dentist said. Do you see? So get multiple opinions. Okay. And then what happened? They just did a little shaving on the top of her tooth where it was crumbling. She didn't need a root canal, but we created it to not be that. Universe said to me, she doesn't need a root canal. She's 20 years old. She has had boil issues throughout her life. And this has to do with issues with her father. Boils are anger. All right. So of course she can get a boil in her ear. She can get a boil anywhere on her body, right? Because it's like unreleased anger you're holding in, right? That's pus and all that yuck, right? I know. Nice to talk about that, right? So, like with my daughter and the dentist, you create, Kathy, you create what is best for you from love. You want to be well, ask God for the best tools to be well. Ask God for the best holistic medicine. Anytime you don't have to do surgery, absolutely do not recommend it. Okay? I do not. All right? Because the body can heal itself. It's about opening your mind and your whole entire soul to a new perspective of how to do things from love. All right? And sometimes you will need surgery. Sometimes those things do come in, but you always want to work with God because it is your individual journey for each one of us with our health and everything that we are. So I feel you can work in other ways with either a holistic practitioner, because just like my daughter, but you create before you go to the doctor what you need, what you want, and you ask love to speak through you. You ask love to handle it. You say, thank you, God, for that for me. You clear your blocks. You ask love that whatever happens, you are truly happy. Okay? Whatever happens. And that way you're releasing all the fear. All the fear. Because if you can be happy, who cares what the fuck happens if you're happy? Do you see? And happiness is in everything. So these are all tools designed by highest knowing of God or love of how universal law works truly here in Earth world and in all that it is. All right. My daughter, right, ended up truly having a boil there. Right? It totally healed. Then the feeling came back in her tooth. She went to the different dentist. We talked all about it. She totally agreed with me and totally told my daughter that, they did a little bit of shaving on the top, right? While the other dentist wanted us to do like thousands of dollars of dental work on my 20-year-old and was like freaking her and me out, or trying to freak me out, but freaking her out about how all three of these bottom teeth here are going to die. And they're dying if she doesn't do this, basically. Not in that many words, but essentially, that's the energy she's sending out to my kid and me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not into this. I'm not into this fear-mongering for money bullshit. Right? So, and this is a problem in the medical world, okay? Because they want to make what? Money. And they all got shotted, and they all are toxic, right? But there are exceptions to every rule. The way to find those exceptions is by working with God or love, right? Okay, so Kathy Warmack, I do feel you can heal all of this. I do feel you will have to start changing your diet, everything you eat, detoxing. And now when I say everything you eat, people start to freak out. Like my sister Jennifer. The other day I was like, dude, you got to start taking better care of yourself. And she's like, she started to cry at the door. She left the door, right? She's Pisces, right? So she left the door this morning and she starts crying about how she loves cows. And she has to be able to eat cows. And she has to have cheese in her her diet. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, but this is her shit. We all got shit, right? It was so fucking funny, but it's not funny because it's real to her, right?
That's right.
So, that's right. So she had her moment, okay? But when I say stuff like this, it means that it doesn't mean that you can't ever have it. The second we say, well, I can never have that again, you know you're going to fall back into those habits because you're not allowing yourself things. Just like freedom. The freedom to do anything. The second they take it away from you is the second you want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like wildly want to do it. So that's why this is never going to work. The shit that the darkness is trying to do, take over, and, you know, with all the crap that's going on, never going to happen. Do you see? Yep. We keep going. All right. So, that said, Kathy, this is what comes in for you. Diet changes, vitamins, minerals, herbs. And this isn't something that's going to take 5 minutes. It's kind of like the illnesses that I have, because basically in all the stars in my chart, it says over and over that I'm going to be accidentally poisoned, and not just once. That gives me the propensity to be poisoned multiple times, be it mold, fungus, tick-related diseases, bacterial infections, any kind of poison. You can almost bet that my body's going to get it, and I'm super sensitive, right? But this is what we're battling now. And this journey has been almost a year since all this shit went down, and I went to the immune cytokine storm when we had just started the show. It was about 2 months in, almost, I think, and the shit hit the fan for me, and I am still healing. It is metaphysical healing, because I'm famous. My soul is famous for not really feeling my emotions and saying, I'll feel that later. Because emotions are your most painful shit, right? Your most painful shit. So there's metaphysical healing to do here for you, as well as the physical, vitamins, minerals, herbs. Start doing your research. Look into these things. You can do it yourself, or you could work with me. You could work with other people. Doesn't matter to me. You can work with multiple doctors, but ask love, ask God, and they will guide you. Hi, Debbie Akers. I see you there, girl, in your big emoji. Thanks for coming. All right. So ask God, ask love, and you will have all the solutions and everything you need. And you feel who is the best person. I won't take offense to that, because I know that your soul, right? And nobody should really, because I know that this is your journey, and the best person and journey for you and healing and everything you need will come for you if you ask for it, and your soul creates that destiny, whether it's with me or another healer or somebody else, and maybe it's multiple, but you feel and be guided by higher knowing. Talk to God, ask for the God's honest truth with all of this. Because I do feel, and I'm going through a similar thing, right? Some rough ass shit, right? Technically, what universe said to me is, it's like I have in my bones, right? And what's going on with me? There's multiple things, but they call it in Earth world, they call it mixed connective tissue disease disorder. All right. But really what I have is massive infection. All right. All throughout my body. That has everything to do with this last mold infection. So it's layers. So this shit didn't happen overnight. This took a long ass time. And if you read and look into, nobody believes in the shit, right? When this is the God's honest truth. All right. But I have gone down this journey for this exact reason. So I can help everybody in the world with the shitstorm that is coming, with the toxins from the inoculations. Make no mistake about it, because people are going to realize that they're really sick, and they're going to need the gifts and tools that I have, because the universe knew that I wasn't going to go and get inoculated, because I was like, yeah, fuck that instantly. You knew. You were like, that when my soul does that, I'm like, no. Just like that doctor trying to tell my daughter that she needs root canal. Nah. So, this is the truth about things for you. Kathy, if you go down this path, follow your heart. You don't have to do this, but universe said to me, basically, I have like what you would call like, almost like a leukemia. All right. And so, but the doctors would say that, and then they would do bone marrow transplants and all this other shit here out in Earth world. And that's not what I need. But I trust God and universe, and to guide me to all the tools, the energy work, the supplements, the natural medicines, all right, that I need for me. Do you see? I ask love for these solutions, right? Because if I go down the Earth world, I could end up in surgeries and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the truth is, they're never going to fix me. Not really. right? They may fix it for a little while. They may put me on 1,000,001 medicines that are going to make me sicker in the end. And it would be different if we lived in different times way back when in the past when the doctors had credibility. Not like it is today. I mean, the world is just, the medical world is a fucking hot mess. And you know, if you go to the emergency room, I spent like a shit ton of money on my daughter with the seizures and me with this, you know, immune cytokine storm. And the pharmacist is like, why did they send you home? They were like, you're having a massive allergic reaction. Why did they send you home? They should have never sent you home. And you know, and I was sitting there like, great. But this is what I had to find out for me. That nothing out here is what people think it is. It's all based in lies and toxic. And now more so than ever, the darkness is coming to the surface, infiltrating, because it is time. Everything in God's time for change. And this is what's going on. Huge change. All right. So whether it's doctors, schools, government, anything across the board that's in our society has been in businesses infiltrated with darkness. You will know the people who are truly in their hearts by how they act. Not the bullshit that they say necessarily, how they act, right? How they act, right? Just like when you say integrity is keeping your word, doing what you say. Do you see? Just like when I pay the rent. If I do what I say, I'll be there on the 5th of the month. And if I'm not, then I'll pay the late fee. And that's my shit. That's my shit. Just like if I park in a handicapped parking space, people like freak out. Oh, you shouldn't be parking there. It's none of your fucking business where I park. Right? There's 15 handicapped spaces out here. Nobody's out here. I'm just going to run in for a minute. That's my business. You're not here to police me and I'm not here to police you. But if I want to pay that fee because I parked in that handicapped space for whatever reason with my own illness and all because I don't have a sign doesn't mean that the illness, meaning the physical stuff I got going on that I'm working on, right, to change, right? So all because I don't have a sign in Earth world doesn't mean that I shouldn't be able to do this. And if I take responsibility for me, if I get a fine, $250, $500, 2 cents, whatever the fucking fine is, that's my job to be responsible for it. And I pick and choose with love what I'm going to do in these earth world rules. I'm not telling anybody to park in handicapped spaces. I'm telling you these things so you understand a different way of how things truly work. Right? If you do something, it is your responsibility. Just like everything I speak on the show, just like when they say with the medical stuff, right? I'm not a doctor and I'm not giving you any doctor advice. But the truth is, everything that I said here, ask God, ask love. What is the best solutions for you? Follow your heart and go and learn about this and see what is best for you. And then you make those choices for you. And no matter what the information I give anybody here, you all are responsible for you, whatever it is, right? My job is to help and assist you, but your job ultimately is to be responsible for you. Putting the blame on anybody else out here, can't do it. That's not how it works from the healthiest, best space of love. We all make choices. We all make decisions. It's all part of our learning. It's all part of our lives, right? That said, I'm going to ask for the best of everything you need from love, Kathy, for you. From love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all it is, and let you be happy no matter what happens. And thank you, God, for that for all of us, with our health and everything in our lives. Thanks, God, for that for us, right? All right. So who's next?
Next, we have, hang on one second. We have Jessica Pierce, again from last week. She says, me and my best friend have a one-of-a-kind relationship. I truly believe she is my platonic soulmate or my twin flame. Or maybe we even knew each other in a past life and we found each other again in this life. What do you think?
Okay.
She gives her name and everything.
It's a plutonic thing?
Mm-hmm.
I think there are, I feel, let me just ask God the God's honest truth, because this is a complex question. This ultimately is about journeys in karma and being of the same soul or like souls in all the consciousness that is you, okay? So how does that work? Like, this is where I got to get a wipe off board for our show so I can like write it out. If you thought of Christ energy as a giant quilt that was all kinds of little squares attached together, there are certain vibrations, and in the middle is the purest form of love, right? Which is high in Christ, and there's layers, of that. All right. So there's all different kinds of energies throughout, or love energy throughout that whole entire quilt and throughout all the layers and through everything that is God, okay? So when you say to me that she is your soulmate and your twin flame, it depends on how people describe those things in words and their beliefs. You could, I feel like you could say that, but the truth across the board is that it is really about an energy that is your soul, or part closest like your soul, in that one square that is you, that would be like right on top. You know how there's all these fibers in a quilt all connected, right? So these souls that are closest to us, there's a twin flame soulmate, then there's a twin flame, and then there's a soulmate, and they're all in that same square or high energy God connection. And we all as souls go through lifetimes with each other, and sometimes things change and people get added or taken out, and for different reasons as they understand and learn from each other through the energies and different consciousnesses. For this in particular, you could say that yes, this is true that she is part of this energy where she could be your twin flame soulmate, but it all is about the karmic agreement, okay? So there's also like what you call, people say fake twin flames or fake soulmates. So there's multiple ways that people talk about all of this stuff, but the truth really is that it is about highest end energy of Christ, and that is going to be most like yours. Like, you can finish each other's sentences. Sometimes it is an actual twin flame energy, yes, but the karmic agreement, that's why people say, oh, we're twin flames. Is it possible that we be twin flames? Well, yes, but not really. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you don't have that karmic agreement in here, but yet you'll have a wonderful connection where you know what she's going to do. She knows what you're going to do. She can finish your sentence. You can finish hers. And so you are a part of that same love energy truly in your heart, but it is not exactly in the way that when people say, at different vibrations of love, and they talk about twin flames and twin flames as soulmates. And then the twin flame soulmate. These are three different things, but they can be intertwined, and it all depends on the karmic connection, the karmic agreements from lifetimes, and the ones that were actually physically being I guess the word is triggered or tapped into in this lifetime. So you do have a connection of highest end consciousness. Yes, I do feel like it's a twin flame soulmate kind of thing. I feel like you have been lovers and stuff in the past. This lifetime, this is how you both decided to do karmically. And again, everything has exceptions and is unique unto itself, all right, to the actual soul or souls. So the answer is yes, but it's not in the way most people think. It doesn't mean that tomorrow you have to become, intimate lovers, because everybody, so more often than not, 73 to 78% of the people on the spiritual path assume that the twin flame energy is automatically a I'm in love with you energy, and it becomes intimate, and it's all of that. But it is not that, especially for higher end consciousnesses, because they've already been through that other thing. And a lot of times they'll go through that earlier in their life, or for different reasons and different ways. Like my one daughter, Madeline, has worked out a few twin flame relationships, literally, within herself, as well as in dreams from people in this reality, from past lives, and bringing the past life stuff forward and healing herself in these spaces. The soul is incredible. There's so much magic here that the world doesn't even have a clue about. So I hope that this explains this for everybody here, because it is complex, but it doesn't mean that you're going to have an intimate relationship with the person, all because it is twin flames, and they can be same sex energies. It absolutely can be. It can be multiple things: twin flames, soulmates, or twin flame soulmate combinations. All right. And remember, this is all part of that square of consciousness that is this form of Christ energy. And depending on what level of God you are at, or this consciousness energy, is how you understand it and what your soul came in and chose to do with these energies, and karmic agreements of ways to be and learn for yourself and with each other. So I hope that answers your question. It's pretty neat, really. And thanks, God. Thanks. All right. So any questions that she has or more with that?
Oh, she said you explained it that beautifully. That's nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, she didn't really say.
Thanks, God.
I see.
All right. Okay. So, and any more questions from last week?
None that are on tonight.
Okay, so we still have questions from last week, but we usually answer the questions for people who are on the show. That way they get to see the answer, because we've done it where we just go through the questions and then the people aren't on, and we'll be like, well, we answered that question 3 weeks ago. They're like, you never answered my question. Well, yeah, we did, but 3 shows ago when you weren't on at that time. So we're going to try to, we've been doing it this way instead. So if you're not on the show, we're going to wait till you're on the show to answer your question if it's a question of the past that we didn't get to, just FYI, because it just works out better for everybody. And then nobody thinks we didn't answer or gets lost. And we're not trying to not answer. We just have so much to cover in such a short time. And we want to get to everybody. So thanks. Thanks for understanding too, guys. Thanks. Okay. So who's next?
Casey Marie.
Okay.
She's
hey,
asking
Casey.
if you see anything new coming up for her.
Anything new for Casey Marie? I do. I feel like, do you have a healing business? Because I feel like I've seen some of your stuff. Are you doing Reiki or any kind of energy work right now? I do feel at some point this is going to take off, especially in the next, and it may seem like it's far away, but it's really not. 2 to 3 years. This year, look at where we are right now. We are in September, October. Here we are in October, and the energy has rocketed, this whole year. It's like, boom, here we are. So I feel, and it's not like you have to wait 2 or 3 years. I feel in the next 2 to 3 years, your business is really going to take off. And this has everything to do with people turning away from traditional old world ways of healthcare, the darkness. And you're growing spiritually, in your healing. You're growing, meaning, learning new things, like me too, with going through everything I've been through, and the astrology learning through the past, 3 years, and learning about all kinds of medicines with physical earth world sicknesses, through my daughter, working with the pets, working with people, and all 3 of my dogs and all the people in my family came down sick, right? So this was part of our life journey to get even more mad skills with God and universe, and learning across the board of vitamins, minerals, herbs, and detoxing, and what we eat and how things affect us, right? So I feel you will be going, and the reason I'm talking about this is because this has everything to do with you, Casey. You will be going down this path as well, and have been. So I feel like you're going to add a lot more stuff, and your journey is very much like mine, and very much like all healers. They will be coming to us in the future, because you will not be able to trust them. Look at them. They're fucking inoculating cows, and then you eat that meat, and then if you eat that meat, or you eat those dairy products, then the mRNA vaccine is in those. Oh, this is creepy shit. All right. This changes everything. This is just like unbelievable. Not that it changes everything, but it just shows you how thick, how heavy, and how creep this darkness is. Just like they're putting, universe guides me to share with you, they're putting this vaccine in other vaccines. It's like you can't even vaccinate your kids anymore. In the old ways, everything has gone to shit because you can't trust them. But this really is the new beginning for the people who are in their hearts, and the new beginning for medicine to bring us back to the truth of God, the truth of love, the truth of medicine. And this is the path that you're on, Casey. Okay, along with all the other things that I've told you in the past that if you choose to do, you will do. I feel like you'll be working with people and animals, because these jackasses just don't stop with their toxic, of trying to get the dark mission complete in all different kinds of unwell ways. So, but remember, God finds a way. God is infinite, way infinite. And so I feel you're going to be going down this path of assessing, acquiring all these new tools, because this is what's coming. Earth world is going to get down to the bottom of the truth of medicine. And the truth is that you can heal yourself energetically, physically, mentally, spiritually, and in all ways with love. That's the grand design of God. How do you think animals in the wild survive? Think about that. Right? They have everything that they need. So why wouldn't we? Instead, we should listen to the elites tell us that we don't know anything and that we're stupid. Just kidding. Right? Seriously, this is the truth of what's coming in Earth world, right? Everything's going to be revamped, and you're part of this master healing team. So you have incredible gifts, Casey. But you've always known that, and I've always known that from the very first time I met you. And I feel like, and I always loved you. Yeah, I do. I just do. And so this is where you're going with these gifts, because everything's going to be revamped and people are not going to trust the systems anymore. How many times can people fucking lie to you? You know, just like my exes, man. How many fucking lies can you tell? Oh, I didn't go with that girl. I'm like, Jesus Christ in heaven. Stop. Just stop. Can't you just stop lying? Can't you just stop? You know, it's like, it's just crazy. But this is the truth. At some point, and it's coming like a steam train, and as big cataclysmic events hit, as well as what's happening behind the scenes, like this show, telling you the truth about the God's honest truth about what's really going on here, because we all need to know it, because it's coming. So that's why we prepare realistically in Earth world, not because I'm toxic, not because I'm shitty, and whatever, and don't stress it either, because whatever you need, universe will supply for you. Ask and you shall receive. So when you think you're, oh my God, I don't have enough water, or I don't have a place to live, or I don't have food, or oh my God, no matter what comes, you ask God for what you need, and it will be so, and it will be so. And that's why the show is so important, because it's the biggest gift I can fucking give you. And for all of us, for myself, for my children, work with love, because then you have all the power, no matter what comes your way. No matter, like with me, with all this toxic shit going on, no matter what happens, I give it to God. I give it to universe. And if I'm having a rough time where I want to lay down and cry in my human space, I do it, right? But I get my shit together with God. Okay, God, I'm feeling like this. Let me cry, get this emotions out. Let me clear it, heal it, change it, and put the best way to be from love. Give me all the tools I need for whatever is happening here. Now, please, from love, for the best outcome for me. From love for myself and all. In this reality, any reality, and all that is. And thank you, God, for these gifts for us now, please, from love in the purest form. In this reality, any reality, and all that is. Do you see? So these are the tools. You're one of these people. You're our people. There's no doubt about it, Casey. So I feel you're going to be doing incredible things, all this new stuff, all this new learning. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to learn from other people. You may find a few people, but I feel like your learning will very much be like mine. And many of you can relate to what I'm talking about. At a certain level of God or love, universe said to me, when you reach certain, you know, I guess you could call it plateaus or certain points in your spiritual journey. At some point, you know, universe will tell you always as you go on this path, you know, like they said to me, you work with me now, Lynn. You work with us now, Lynn. Like I'd be like, do I need to work with this teacher or this person? And they'd be like, no. They'd be like, you work with us now. That's it. You work with us. So I feel your soul with universe is going to bring you through books, through knowledge, through videos, through wisdom, through research, guided by your heart to all these different avenues in learning, and also by what happens in Earth world, in your physical Earth world. Okay. So I do feel these things are coming for you super powerfully. It's exciting. I feel like your business is going to take off, and it's pretty damn cool. And, you're going to help so many people. So many people. Yeah. And this is for anybody who wants to go down this path, you know, and most of you all know that you're already healers. You're already high in consciousness. You know, the people who can't stay on my show are the ones, and this is, and not to laugh at it, but it's kind of comical. The people who aren't in this consciousness can't stay here, can't get it, don't agree with it, have fucking multiple problems with me, right? And that's most of the traditional spiritual people. I don't really give a fuck. All I care about is my connection with God and coming from love. My people don't have to be spiritual people. They don't have to be religious. I don't really give a fuck what they believe. All they have to do is be in their hearts, because that's the God's honest truth. If you're in your heart, you're my people. But this is about authentically. This isn't about some kind of bullshit of pretending you're in your heart, pretending you be my friend, or the darkness, like for all intensive purposes. You know, we talked about the cycle last week, how the soul works once it gets the inoculation, where it loses its heart connection, right? And you're not going to be able to connect with people into the future who don't have that heart connection. It's kind of like, do you ever see in the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where they're like, when they knew all the potted people back from that movies in the 70s, they would go, oh, and you know, and they would point at the people who were real people, you know what I mean, that they had to get and make them into potted people, right? I mean, this creep shit. All right. But really, we are, this is why I've said for years that we are the superheroes of the universe, because we are. And all those superhero movies that we saw as kids growing up, guess what? We're here to save the fucking planet. We are the superheroes, right? Spider-Man, X-Men, Superman, Batman. You know what I'm talking about. All of those shows and all the bad guys like Lex Luthor were designed to tell us what was coming. Incredible stuff. Everything in your earth world, everything tells you the truth of God and love of what's happening out here or what's coming. That's why when shit pops up on my feed, I'm like, God, what is this? I'm like, what do I need to know? You know, what is it that I need to share? What do I need to do with this? I don't understand it. I ask God that I do, right? I need to share it with you. I ask God to speak through me and share it. I ask love to speak through me. I ask love to handle it. I ask love for everything I need. Okay. All right. So that said, Casey, a lot of great things coming really in the next 2 to 3 years. And this is for all you guys who are diehard healers and like us, the people who do not resonate with us, they can't stay here on the show. You know how it is, or they don't come on for long, but sometimes it's just planting a seed, right? To get people to see things differently from higher end consciousness, and years to come, maybe even lifetimes, right? This too will come to life. Because that's how all that is God works. There's no accidents in anything. Nothing is an accident. And love is forever. Is forever. Okay. That said, I hope you like that reading, Casey. Does she have anything else with it?
Not that I see.
Okay. All right. So what time we got right now?
8:27.
Okay, so we still have about 15, 18 more minutes, guys. All right, so are there more questions from this week then? Okay, let's do it.
At least 3 more. We got Nicole Opper.
All right.
Sorry,
Hey,
Older.
Nick.
So she says, hey, this week I've been incredibly exhausted. Things don't taste well, and I feel like everything makes me cry. What is going on with me?
All right.
I feel like it's like a little bit from what we talked about earlier, but I thought maybe you got extra information for Nikki.
Yeah, and you're right. It is everything that we've talked about tonight. Sometimes you will get physical symptoms that are emotional, right? And that's really what's going on with me, all right? Or my whole entire sickness that I have in my body is because I am disconnected, right? What do they call it in Earth World? What's the title for it? Mixed connective tissue disease or disorder. It's in the family of rheumatic stuff. It could be associated with lupus, that kind of thing. They're interconnected and multiple other what they call autoimmune diseases. Okay, this said, it's a disconnected thing. Okay, it's about me removing myself from emotions and not wanting to heal them. And the main reason this would be is because sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. When the God's honest truth is that's bullshit. The names, right? The stuff you believe about yourself and the words are fucking energy. Emotional energy is super toxic. Super toxic. Yeah. So my soul doesn't want to let me feel these things. So we will have, especially at this high end consciousness and being super sensitive, we will have physical symptoms in our emotional stuff, right? And it's hard when we're crying a lot and we don't feel good and we don't feel good about ourselves. That tends to bring like viruses and sicknesses, but we're also detoxing, Nick, and you're also detoxing. And when you detox, a lot of times you'll have days where you don't feel good and you have to pull back on your detoxing regimen. Okay, so all of this is really all what we've talked about tonight that's going on for all of us at different levels, different degrees, and it's always particular to the self. Okay, this is why I always say ask God, because something for me that I might talk about here is not exactly ever going to be the same exact thing for you. That's what makes us all so special and unique, because we're all part of this massive energy of love, but we get to live in Earth World. We're always part of everything that is God or love, but we get to live these unique lives where we get to experience all these cool things that we get to be and do or are within ourselves. And that's what makes us so unique, right? But that also includes our shittiness, our darkness, our crap, and all kinds of ways that the soul manifests great magic and toxic shit, right? Like this physical stuff that I'm going through right now. I can tell you that I am experiencing incredible pain, or have been multiple times through a while now, through this whole process. And it's almost been a year. It'll be a year at the end of this month. But I also can tell you that there's healing processes going on in my body as well. But I will tell you this too. The release of the energy in my physical body is also a lot of the crying and stuff that I'm doing, right? I'm like, oh, all this painful crap and unwell thoughts will come out. It's literally coming out of my physical body because I wouldn't allow myself for lifetimes to feel things or to address how I feel because it was too painful. Sticks and stones again, right? Where people say, well, those things that people call you will never hurt you. Well, yeah, they do, because they trigger your deepest, darkest shit, your emotional crap about the way that you feel about you. And then if it's too painful in our hearts, being souls like us, we feel so big and so much that this is why this stuff happens. Okay. Our souls can't deal. We say this is too painful. So we find a magical metaphysical way to exist, right? And we disconnect from those things because it is so painful. But at some point, like the old world saying, you got to pay the piper or karma returns, right? The old world saying is, at some point, I have to address this, or I'm going to be sick for lifetimes in different ways, because this will re-manifest over and over and over and over and over if I don't work on my soul, if I don't work on my stuff, if I don't work in multiple ways to heal me consciously with love. But this is also why we're all on the planet, Nick, and everybody here, because none of us are in our healthiest heart spaces across the board. And this is that journey for all of us. None of us value our health. This is why so many people got inoculated. For they're so afraid that they're going to get sick and are going to die, and that, they make foolish choices or to go to work. Right? They say, oh, well, my work made me do it. They don't value their health, their bodies, they don't believe they're beautiful. They don't love themselves, right? This is a chronic epidemic in the earth world, and we are all part of that. And this is all part of this massive healing going on in all of us. We don't like our boobs. We don't like our hair. We hate our nose. We wish this was different. I wish I wasn't so fat. I wish I had this. And then the list goes on. Or we can't stand ourselves, or we were crushed emotionally. We think we're horrible people. This is all this stuff, right? And everybody out here, all the people who got inoculated did it for money exchanges, worth and value. They gave up the value of their bodies and their health, they didn't value that. It had no worth to them. But the truth is, if your body is your vehicle here in Earth World, right? It is part of you. It is part of your soul. And if you don't love it, it can only go on for so long without the love. Think about if you did that to your dog or kids or the people you love. They're going to be like, fuck you. And that's what your body says, right? Yeah, same thing. So my body's giving me the big fuck you, if you really want to know. But this is about healing. This is my journey. And I knew that I was going to have to do this in lifetime. And this is all part of you, Nikki, and what you're going through. And there will be different phases, different times, because I know that we have so much, all of us. Words and thoughts create, right? But we are that which is in our reality. Do you see? And so we are so much like each other. It's the same kind of formula. Words and thoughts create, everybody's a mirror to you, right? And this is the same thing. You have too many things. Like both of our daughters are born on the same birthday. You have Leo in this world, earth world, in your natal chart, where I have it in my subconscious chart. Do you see? I also, I could make a million comparisons, but you get my point. There's too many similarities here that show me that you're going through the same thing. And universe shows me and speaks through me this. So this is all for you. And for everybody here, so they can help to understand, right, that emotional stuff is the fuel that creates everything in your life, in your physical wellness or not, right? Yeah. And it is fear that makes us freak the fuck out. All right. And creates all kinds of toxic shit in our lives. Or it is love that makes our lives the greatest things. And all the magical stuff that is in your life is coming from love. Okay. All right. So Nick, I hope that helps you. This is really what's going on. I feel like it's a little bit different. Again, it's unique to you. It's unique to you and your soul. While we're similar, we are also super uniquely different. That's why people are all so magic. That's why I go out there and I like assess everybody. I'm like just looking around. I sat in the parking lot for an hour today, like I told you, and I'm just looking around and I'm going, why am I doing this? Well, obviously my soul knows why. It's just watching people, watching who does what, watching who goes where. You guys ever people watch? Because that's what your soul is doing. It's checking out how people behave. What kind of energy behaves like that? What kind of energy wears this? What kind of energy has a dog? What kind of energy sits in its car outside and just sits there for a while? What kind of energy, drinks fast food or eats lots of fast food? Or what kind of energy wears, striped t-shirts? Do you see? Yeah. But my soul is like fascinated with this because I'm Sag, Gemini, okay? Sagittarius rising. That's what makes me a great teacher. All right. That's part of it. Right. And Gemini is the incredible intellectual communicator. It's one of them. And Libra, right? Because my sun sign is Libra, right? But Gemini is your thinking and your part of a huge chunk of your communication skills, talking, listening. But what I love about Gemini is it's like the Rubik's Cube in me. Okay. It's the thing that needs to figure everything out all the time. Everything God, everything love. And that's why my third house is Pisces. That's why it's got Saturn in there. That's why it has my black moon Lilith. It has my Chiron, because these things in me, in the third house of Pisces, right? And the opposite, that third house is what? The ninth house? Yes. The ninth house, right? In my third house, in my personal chart, it's Pisces, but it's the third house is Mercury's house. But I think, I think, which is something we coined the phrase on, right? That's what wisdom is. It's feel thinking. Yeah. Right. Like I said, yes. I posted on my page today with Rachel. I said, oh, Rachel, I can feel your thinks, and everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right. Because I know what she's thinking by how it feels in my heart. And then I put it into words. Right. So like I was going to get something for lunch today and I knew that Rachel liked chicken salad and I was feeling Rachel wanted chicken salad and I looked at her and she didn't say anything. And I looked at her and I said, Rachel, you want chicken salad today, don't you? You want me to get chicken? And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, that's feel think, right? That's a feel think. I know. I read minds. This is God knowing. This is you guys too, all these gifts. It's fascinating shit. Okay, but let me get back to where the hell we were, right? In this journey of wisdom with all of us. So we were talking about Nikki, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so Nikki, you're just going through all this stuff just like we are. And within all of our stuff too, with your questions, we get incredible tidbits or bits and pieces and understanding from the universe of all that is God and love so that we can live our greatest lives. So thanks, God. Thanks. And all these gifts that I have, you have. You have. Ask and you shall receive. If you feel like you don't have them, ask God to change that. Ask to be free of that. Ask that you do see them, that you do believe. And it is so. And thank you, God, for that for us from love. Okay. All right. So Nikki's good. What do we got next?
We have Jennifer Custer, who had a similar question to Nikki, too. She says her question, if you have time, is what the fuck is going on with me? Can't explain, just blah, and can't shake it.
Yeah, and it's the same shit. We're all going through it. I mean, if I could put a camera up, but I'm going to spare you that if you saw me with my emotional shit. And my biggest challenge too is I don't like to feel my emotions, and each one of us feel them differently. I don't like to squirm. I don't like to share how I really feel, right? Yeah, it's a problem for me. And I'm like, so when I start having oodles and oodles of crying and toxic thoughts come out and all of that shit, it's like I kind of want to go in the back room and hide, and I'm sure many of you can relate to this, but we're all going through it because it's our deepest, darkest Plutonian shit, all right? And the moon, but it's D, what I call all the above in astrology. D, all of the above, get it? And in astrology, the transit chart. It takes these people like 4 hours to get a joke these days.
I didn't even get it.
over their heads. All right.
All right, 4 hours yet, Jen.
So really, that's what's going on. This emotional stuff. You have all this going on with you. It's all of us. We're all going through it. We're all going through it. So, one day it'll be like really crazy. The next day it'll be lighter. And then the next day after that, you'll feel really great because you've released all that shit, right? Or you'll feel like $1 million. And then the next day you're like, what the hell happened to me now? Or you'll be incredibly raging. But also remember, at this level of God or love or light, okay, you're super sensitive. You are like a sponge, a Piscean sponge. You pick up on everything. Cancer moon too. You pick up on everything. All the water signs. You pick up everybody else's stuff like a sponge. So much of this is what you're feeling in the collective. I had a couple times, I might have talked about this on our show, where I was driving down, I think it was Wolf Snare Road here in Virginia Beach, and I came around a corner and I felt this incredible sadness in the world with everything was going on. And I was like, ugh, right? I came around the corner. It was like I drove into a vortex of collective sadness, right? So this may be happening for many of you, but this tells you that here on the show, the truth about what happens when you go through those things, right? You can drive through vortexes, or just like when you've been to a place where something horrific happened, where somebody was murdered, you could walk in and you can feel the energy and you know what happened. I had a time when I might have talked about this too, when I visited, I think, New Jersey, my friend in New Jersey, and apparently there was an altercation with a coyote in his yard, and I was staying with him for the weekend because I was doing events, I think, in New York State. So I stayed with him, and when I drove up to his house and I parked, it was like 3 a.m. because I used to do a lot of wild gauntlet driving, right? Because just to get where I needed to go at off hours. So a huge time save there, but in my travels. However, like I literally pulled into his driveway, and then I got this incredible fear of being attacked by a coyote, and I didn't want to get out of my car, and I was like, holy shit. I'm like, there's a coyote around. I feel the coyote. I think the coyote's out here. I'm like, what the hell is he doing in the driveway? Now, I can't see him, but I know he's here, and I can feel his energy, and the energy of fear was absolutely wild. And then I get inside, right, and in the morning, right, I go sleep on the couch at my friend Steve's, and then in the morning... I tell him, I said, what? I said, I was so crazy. I said, I stayed in my car for a little bit. I was feeling this incredible fear. I had to clear it with universe, and create what I needed to happen. I said, but I'm feeling literally this coyote, he's around here, and like an attack. And then he says to me that the neighbor's dog 2 or 3 nights ago got attacked by a coyote, and the coyote has been around a lot. So that's what I'm feeling. Do you see? Incredible stuff. We have incredible gifts to know what happened in different spaces. It's kind of like when you go to Gettysburg. Anybody ever been to Gettysburg? Holy shit. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Little Round Top, Civil War, Robert E. Lee, all that stuff, right? Oh my God. All you guys got to know, man. I can tell you tons of incredible stories. You go there and you can't miss how it feels. You're like, whoa. And how long ago was that? Yeah. Incredible stuff. Wow. So you feel energy. We all do. So you'll be feeling energy in the collective. You'll feel energy of situations out here, right? By what really literally happens out here, and it could be 2 days. It could be years. It could be months. A lot of it, like with this coyote thing, there was such incredible fear. And I'm thinking, holy shit. And I'm like all terrified, but that wasn't even my fear. It was theirs. It was their fear. But this is the kind of shit that happens. And I was like, holy shit. I got to get my head together, God. Clear this out of me. Let me be safe. Let me get out of my car. Let me know the God's honest truth. Why I'm feeling like this. What's going on? And I'm talking to universe about it the whole time. So I'm not terrified. So I can leave my car and walk to his door. And it's pitch black out. I don't know where the coyote is, but he's out there somewhere. And I know he's there, right? Because I can feel it. But I'm also picking up on all that other energy because he's been around. And that incredible fear wasn't mine at all. It was the neighbor's fear. Do you see? Yeah. So neat shit for everybody in these times with this. Okay. So who's next?
We have, hang on. I just lost it. I had it. It's in my messenger. Alexis Michelle.
All right. Hi, Alexis. Thanks for coming.
She had a friend who just passed away a few days ago when she was only 22.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so her birthday was August 22nd. She's wondering, Alexis is wondering, does the friend know what happened to her and is she okay?
All right. I'm not sure what exactly she's asking, so I'm going to pull this apart. Rubik's Cube time. All right. All right. So Alexis has a friend that passed away, and she's asking if the friend who is crossed over knows what's going on yet, or is she asking for herself, or what is she asking?
I'm interpreting it, does the friend know what happened to her?
Okay, so the friend that crossed over.
If she says anything else, I'll...
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was feeling like she was asking. I feel she's getting it. She's getting it. She's putting it together. There's more to this. Let me just see. Yeah, she has not left. Is this like the third day? I feel like there's one more day here for her to put it together, meaning her soul is going to work it out and put all of this together. Like it's going to, lights out. Battery must have gone out.
That's crazy. It was like she did that.
Oh, absolutely. That's so funny that Jennifer just said the light here went out. So that's no accident. Absolutely. So I do feel like that's the connection with your friend. She knows we're talking about her. That's why the light went out. And, oh my God, light out for her. So she is getting it. Is that crazy? Light out.
Wow.
Lights out.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, that's wild. So she does get it. She's wrapping her head around it because it's an emotional thing. It's multi-levels of emotions. It's multiple different energies that happen when this happens, or happen meaning happen and have to deal with or assess or go through. It's a process. So she's going through that process. She's laughing because she thinks it's funny.
Oh my God.
Oh, here it is again. She thinks the lights out shit is so fucking funny. She did it again. So that's twice.
It's a full charge too.
Yeah, and the thing is fully charged. So apparently lights out. So she gets it, and that's why the light won't go back on. She knows. As crazy as this sounds, right? Fantastic metaphysical shit, right? Okay. So but she's laughing about it. She's just laughing and laughing and laughing. So we're going to leave the light out because apparently she keeps shutting it out. And if you don't believe me, I don't really give a shit, but ask God what the truth is and then believe that by how you feel it in your heart, right? However, this is true. Yeah, this is so crazy. This is so crazy.
It's really funny.
Yeah, it's fascinating. You never know what's going to happen here. You just don't know, right? Okay, so yeah, she's laughing about it. She's really laughing. I love her soul. It's a beautiful soul, and that's why she couldn't stay. She's lovely. She's just lovely. She reminds me very much of my daughter Madeline. I feel like she's, plagued with a lot of emotional shit underneath, but her heart is so pure that this world is so toxic. She doesn't almost have the capacity to fight. Like her heart is so beautiful and her soul is so amazing that she just doesn't have it in her to fight. And this is what she's telling me, universe is telling me, angels are telling me. That she has around her right now 6 angels that are helping her and assisting her. All right. And she does know, I feel, basically she's saying, her energy is saying that she has more work to do here in Earthworld. In other words, she's not complete here. So normally the soul will leave in 3 to 4 days as a general rule, but it can stay longer. And in this case, I feel like she's going to stay for a while. She's telling me 3 to 4 months. And that makes sense because the number 3 is the number of active God. By the 4th day is the number of completion. It's a square. And I feel like, so it could be 3 to 4 months, 3 to 4 days, 3 to 4 minutes, 3 to 4 weeks. This is all part of the completions of cycles, 3 to 4 seconds, however time frame you see it. But what she's telling me, I feel like she's going to stay here for 3 to 4 months before she fully crosses over entirely. It's because there are so many people that are having a really hard time with this, and also it's also for her learning and her growth. It isn't just about other people. It's about her acclimating to these new things, these new gifts, and she's kind of excited about it. She says she feels free, completely free now. She doesn't have these burdens that she had here in Earthworld, and they were really fucking heavy on her. So she doesn't have those things anymore. And she's showing me, she keeps showing me, did she have hair that like came down to like here and kind of like, I'm gonna, like this kind of, that was like a reddish. All right, because this is what she's showing me. Now, this could be anybody in her life, but this is what she wants me to show you, and this is really important. It's almost like is it what do you call it, like a bowl cut, like where it goes to like here and it's curled under, kind of a thing. But she feels really young, or she may have had this hair at one time, but it's like a darker kind of red. If you see, I don't know if you guys know who Casey Marie is. She was on here earlier. I don't know if she's still on here, but I think Casey has a picture of her hair. It's like a darker red,
He said it's called a bob cut. Like a bob?
Yeah, okay, and Dee says it's called like a bob cut. It's hard for me to try to show you with my crazy wild hair, right? so it is what it is. It's Sagittarius hair, it's wild. It's horse hair, woo, flies all over the place, right? Okay.
Oh yeah, she says she had a bowl cut when she was younger and she had red hair.
Yeah, see? Well, she's showing me that. She's also telling me really strong connections with you, and she loves you huge. Also, candy canes, peppermint, candy canes come in for her. Again, a lot of times, many of us will have the same things over and over because we are these high-end consciousnesses, and the same things resonate within us, or many of the multiple similar things. Did she also have a dog? She's showing me like a little black Shih Tzu or a black small dog that has like ears, or looks, is a Shih Tzu or a terrier. I think it looks like a terrier, but the word that came out of my mouth is a Shih Tzu, so it could be a mix. or she could have had multiple different dogs, but she's showing me a black dog. I feel like she's holding him too. She's holding him. So if you know anything about her childhood or this dog in particular, ask her family, look through pictures. You may see this dog, but she's with him. She's literally holding him, and she's really happy. She's really happy. And that's the most important thing, is that she is happy. And sometimes our lives, everyone thinks we should have long lives and we should have this and we should have that. Souls have different missions and different journeys and different lengths in lives, depending on what their greatest gifts that they came here to get, tools, learning, wisdom, experience, on their journey for their greatest selves. So, it behooves us not to get in it, but it is hard when people are so young, and in our earth world spaces, we think, wow, they were taken out before their time, and a lot of emotions like this come out. And that's part of being human and part of identifying with that happening to her, and part of that where we put ourselves in those spaces and we feel bad, or we feel fear of that happening to us, or we could relate to that in our lives, and we don't want to lose people or have a short life for ourselves. So this is about all human assessments when we think about what should be, as well as earth world conditioning about how long our lives should be, And so, but know this, there is a higher knowing of God, and the soul decides how long it wants to stay, and nothing anybody could have done could have changed this. Nothing. Okay, this is about her soul's journey. It's kind of like when my dad passed away, my sister was in Florida, I had a baby, and I was down here in Virginia, and I couldn't come to see him because he had shingles, and my pediatricians told me that I can't bring my kid to see him because of the shingles. Now, today, it's a different world because that was when I was in my 30s, but the bottom line is that my mother got in an accident, a bike accident, and was in another space in the hospital, and when my dad passed away, it was deliberately done that none of us could be there with him except my brother, who drove him to the hospital that particular night, because his soul knew that we were super metaphysically gifted, and that he would not have wanted to go because of his love for us and the magic that we're able to do. Do you see what I'm saying? In these spaces of God. But so nothing I could have done, if the soul decides, even if I could have been there or my sister could have been there, it was the grand design. Clearly, my mother had a bike accident in the hospital, a freak bike accident, mind you. She was like riding her bike, and a jogger at 5 a.m. came and ran into her in the darkness. She went flying off her bike, got a concussion, broke her collarbone and 3 ribs, and was in the hospital. That time frame, which was within the time frame when my father passed away. My sister was in Spain. I had a new baby, and and couldn't get there. And there was like, he had shingles. And ultimately, again, this is the infection thing. He died of an infection and he became septic. Okay, so it behooves me to be wise of my family history as well as, and especially, what is going on in the stars. Everything that is God, that is love, is tools and gifts to help us understand, right? Where we might have some weaknesses or things that we need to address or be aware of so we can live our greatest lives with the best from love. Okay, this said, let me see here. I get into my spaces with my dad and stuff. Let me see all these emotional spaces and traveling on these paths with universe for wisdom for everybody. All right, God, bring me back to where we are. So this was guidance from universe about how the soul works. If it's leaving, like your friend, there's nothing that could stop her. And like me, the wrath of God, my mother couldn't be there, my sister wasn't there, and I couldn't be there. And my brother took my father to the hospital the night that he passed away. And that was all part of the grand design, because his soul and universe, that is God, when it is your time, everything falls together in the perfect storm from love. And your time is not decided by God. It is decided by your soul from love with universe, God, love, connection, right? Because it's all part of that. Do you see? Okay, so this is incredible wisdom and guidance. Apparently, I feel that you were wondering about this, and this is why all this came through for you and for all of us, really, because it's fascinating shit. God is just fascinating. Anyways, so, okay, so hope that helps you. If there's anything else you want to know, just holler. All right? Okay, who's next? Or what time do we have? Are you about to tell me the time?
Uh-huh.
I knew it. I knew you were going to tell me the time. Shit, that we're at time. All right, go ahead.
56.
Shit. What do we say? Shit, fuck, damn. 8:56. All right. So we're going to wrap it up for tonight. I just want to see that I had written things down because I didn't want to miss anything. We talked about the cows, truth of God and messages. We talked about all the darkness. Yeah, we absolutely talked about all these things, except for one thing in reference to the wreath, but we can bring that back next week. That's not as crucial because we talked about the wreath last week. We started talking about that wreath last week. Okay. So how many questions we have left, guys?
I think we finished them.
Yeah. Okay. So, we're a little bit past time. Thank you all for coming. I love you guys. If you can donate, please do. But in the meantime, share our shit, because the more we get it out to the world, what's really going on here, how things truly work, the greater the understanding of truth we bring in, and the faster we raise the vibration of the planet, and all this dark shit, goes away. You see? All right. So thank you, God, for these gifts for us now, please, from love in the purest form. If you can donate any way you can, as well as get our stuff out there. Thank you all for coming, and thank you too for any and all donations that you guys give, in whatever way you give. We're super grateful, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 7:15 live talk forum with me. All right.